Wow, look at that, internet. Welcome to Ring Spinner Week on Hobby Timmy, the old Hobby Timmy channel. With any luck, I don't know if I'll be able to do them all, but I'd love to just burn through all these today and then upload them each day throughout the week. So we can just do this. But yeah, it just kind of happened that it just ring spinners just kind of became a thing all of a sudden for me. So let's make a Discovery as a Shark Week. We're gonna have a ring spinner week. So we'll just kind of quickly look at what we got in front of us, and then we'll kind of hit up the main event for this specific video, which is going to be these right here. But Alex from Premium Spinners reached out to me, said he wanted to send me some stuff to review, and I said, sweet. I like getting sent stuff. I'm not sure what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to send back. He sent me basically one. I get to pick one of them for free, and then we're going to, see which other ones I might want to keep and stuff like that. So we were chatting a little bit about the ring spinners that he does, and he's had obviously a lot of success. His drops, I don't know if they still do, but I'm pretty sure they generally sell out pretty quick. So they are definitely an in-demand brand, and they're very recognizable, and they kind of brought... The first one's bringing like kind of those quality ring spinners at kind of affordable prices that were unique to them. I'm sure there's probably some others out there, but they're the ones you're going to think of, like with those original loopholes, like we got right here. Now this is mine. This is part of my collection. But anyway, he said he wanted to send me a bunch of stuff, and I didn't realize. I guess I missed the train on Premium Spinners and wasn't paying attention. They have a bronze version, and I didn't realize it. So I kind of talked to him about that. I mentioned something about bronze, and he just happened to have one still, or a couple lying around, maybe. I'm not sure. So we'll take a look at that tomorrow. But I'm kind of excited about that one as well. But yeah, so we've got the minis we're going to kind of take a look at today. Now, when you get a mini, hang on, hold on, internet. Little fourth wall break. I got the stuff in my pocket. And these car videos are a little tough. When you get a mini, they come with like a little card of authenticity. I don't think the big ones do. I haven't seen any big ones with it, but they come in tins. These don't come in tins, but they get you a little authenticity card. So kind of neato. So what do we have here in front of us today? Well, we've got the T4 Mini. I don't know if any of the T4 or any of the minis have knurling. At least none of the ones that I do have it, except for the wide, which we'll talk about probably tomorrow. I think we'll do the wide tomorrow, and then we'll do these. Or maybe we'll do these. I don't know. I haven't decided. But in any event, this will be a separate video, and then these will be a separate video. But the minis, yeah. So the minis are pretty light. Let's just get that out of the way so I can get rid of my scale. Come on, scale. There we go. All right, 15 grams. They don't come with buttons or anything either. Although the cores and everything do work, they're still 19 millimeter. I mean, they're not going to be, this is probably going to be the heaviest. Yeah, 16 grams. Yeah, 15.8. All right, so there we go. We got that out of the way. So the first thing I noticed with these is that they are very, very light. So that does a couple things. For me, I do prefer a little bit more of the weight and the heft. So we'll kind of get that out of the way, that I think for me, the minis aren't the ones that I would gravitate to, but I know a lot of people love them, and let's talk about what is really nice about them. One is the weight. You almost don't notice that it's on your finger. It's super light. Now, if you recall with me in particular, the 19 millimeters is a strange one for me because it doesn't quite fit over my knuckle on my index finger, and I've got kind of wide knuckles, but skinnier fingers, so it kind of, like it wants to fall off right here. It doesn't really get snug at all until about there, and then it kind of really snugs up there. But with the larger size loopholes, because of that weight, it doesn't really hold on here, where I don't feel that with this. This doesn't feel like it's going to come loose at all, which is kind of nice, especially when I'm doing a video and holding it down. Still, a lot of times I'm realizing that after having a bunch of ring spinners, I really gravitate to keeping my finger up. But with the original loophole, I really wanted to have my finger pointing kind of down when I was spinning it. But really light, really low profile, especially something for me like on a thing like this. It almost doesn't get in the way. Like it's a little too wide to really have my fingers like completely together and comfortable. But with the knurling in there, it's not too far off. And then because it's not too large, it's actually pretty easy to spin. So if you really want a discrete spinner, and I can pull this up, it can kind of get locked on that knuckle a little, makes the spinning a little easier, still stays in place. So really nice. So I do kind of like the discrete nature of this, and if you're into mini spinners and micro spinners, this is definitely going to be good. On top of that, if we take, say, some buttons, these are cool buttons too. I actually like these, I think, more with buttons. Kind of neato. So that's the T4 in stainless steel. So the T4's got a nice style, a nice pattern to it. Some of them you can't, it's hard to really kind of tell the difference between, like, say, a, you know, when we talk about some of the larger ones, the T5 and the T6, it's not a huge difference. This, for me, I think is the right amount of knurling. If you're going to have knurling, the T4 is nice, and it's got a nice look to it, but I think I prefer the extra knurling from something like this. And it's kind of, it doesn't really hit a flat spot anywhere. It kind of rounds down and then rounds up and then rounds down and rounds up, so you get this really kind of nice smooth thing going on. And then again, this in the brass, you know, it's funny how you can feel like a stainless steel feels harder than a brass, and you can sort of somehow manage to feel that, like it feels like a softer metal. I don't know what the deal is with that, exactly what's going on. Our senses are kind of crazy, aren't they, people? The sense of touch is really interesting if you really think about it at like a scientific level with like what's going on there. So yeah, so these are nice, these are discreet, nice little minis if you like that sort of thing. Let's take a look at the T0. Now the T0 is a gift from Jomo. So he sent me a bunch of spinners to review, but then in that package to review, he sent me this as like a gift, which is pretty rad, pretty neat. Appreciate that. And I actually, here's the thing, I kind of looked away from the T0s in a lot of these when I had kind of been looking for my first ring spinner, because I just didn't think you would really get enough grip. But there's just no problem getting any grip on this. So this might actually be my favorite, all things considered, of the minis. And it just says pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. Now, because it doesn't have any knurls, it forces your fingers apart even a little further if you're trying to get sort of that discrete ring thing going on. But depending on the size of your hands, if you got bigger hands and it fits around your pinky, then it's really out of the way. Or if you've got smaller hands and it can fit right up here, like on this finger. For whatever reason, I can just barely get it over that knuckle. See my burn mark? I don't think I talked about that. I think I talked about it in a live video. Maybe I talked about it in another video. I was just being dumb. But nice. Now, I did notice that, so with these, this one had been, I'm assuming Jomo had used it before he sent it to me. Whoops. And between shipping back and forth, you get almost a different characteristic with every bearing. Like this is, almost feels a little dirty, but feels lightly lubed. This feels really smooth. This has a little bit of grinding and a little bit of feedback. And then this is the Jack Hazard one, and again, this has probably been, who the heck knows what he's been doing with it, so. But you can kind of hear that. But I actually kind of really like, aside from the noise, like with the ring spinner, you really want it to be discreet is the reality, especially with the mini. But I like having a little bit of feedback in these ring spinners, and that little bit of noise is kind of satisfying. As well as this is almost like a little buzz saw. You really feel that when you're slowing it down. So it reminds me a lot of what I was saying with the Cognito Junior, like a mini buzzsaw. Kind of neat. So that's kind of cool. So I do dig this a lot. I kind of really like them all, and they all really feel different. So at first, you know, I'd see people like buying, 30 ring spinners. And it's like, why are you really buying them? But they all really do kind of give a different feel. Some of the ones like this, again, like the T5 and the T6, feel pretty similar, but yet still feel different enough. So, and again, I really like this little mini brass, but something about this one, I think this one has the right amount of feedback, the right amount of weight, where it doesn't kind of really feel like a mini. Because the first time I picked these up, I was like, wow. And now that I'm spinning them here, yeah, they feel good. As soon as I pick up one of these heavier ones, we're gonna be all about that life. So, but yeah, Loophole minis. I don't know what else we got to say to them. The only negatives I can really think of, again, for me, are like the size and the weight. Right, they're a little on the small side, so they don't have a ton of weight, so you don't get quite as much like spinning sensation. So if you're really looking for something fidgetable, and that's really what you're after, I think this is where you're at. And you like those mini micro spinners, again, this is something discreet. You can put it anywhere. You can do stuff throughout the day, and then just keep this on your finger out of the way. Depending on what finger it fits on for you. 19 millimeters is, I think, a pretty good size, all things considered. I may actually have a preference towards the 17 millimeter myself after spinning a lot, despite having somewhat larger hands, but 19 millimeters enough to get over some bigger fingers, yet not be too large where it can't fit on some smaller fingers. So, seems to be kind of a good, I think maybe a good medium. Again, when you're trying to make a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal, it's just kind of is what it is. Keep dropping this. A point that I'll probably make a couple times, just in case someone doesn't watch all these videos, when you're talking about these kind of bearings, the tolerances get really crazy. So these larger bearings are much more susceptible to like pinching and slight variations in the size. So just about everybody seems to glue these. I don't know if you can really do a press fit. You'd have to be so accurate, because the very slightest amount of pressure can cause these bearings to get all kinds of wonky. Oops. Well, we'll get that one later. That one behind the seat. So, yeah, so the tolerances can get a little crazy. Also, when Alex gets these, he does intend to have them sort of like, they are shielded. I guess we should talk about that. Shielded. Pretty sure they're stainless steel. This one that I've de-shielded is stainless steel. So, but yeah, so, and they're, in theory, they've got some oil or some lube that's supposed to be cleaned off, but he doesn't think that it gets all cleaned off from the factory, it sounds like, because some do seem smoother than others. And that's just kind of what it is. And I think a lot of people like to lube their ring spinners just a little bit. I'm not sure how I feel about that, in the sense that if it's going to be on your finger, it's more susceptible to dust. So the shield will kind of help get rid of that as an issue, but at the same time, you're going to have to get the shield off to clean it, because you're probably going to need to clean it a little more frequently. So I don't know. For me, I think I like it unshielded. I've left this one unshielded. It's a little easier to clean when it comes to that. So, but at the same time, I've been working this one right here. Can't wait to talk about that one. Yeah, we're going to do this video next, and then we'll do the mini, because I want to talk about this. Yeah, I guess I think that's it. Can I recommend these? We'll put the price down below here because I forgot to look it up. But I think they're in, well, we'll just put it down there. I don't want to guess. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I just don't want to guess and then have to overdo it. So we'll put it down below. But they're pretty affordable, and they're mini, they're discreet. So can I recommend them? I give them a 1.5 awkward thumbs up. Mainly for me, I prefer the size and the weight and the fidgetability, and I don't need my spinners to be too discreet all the time. So this doesn't really get in my way. So there aren't enough drawbacks from the reduction in weight for me to make it worth it, but at the same time I do appreciate and do like them. So yeah, that's been the mini loopholes. Stick around internet for the ring spinner week, where we look at the full-size loopholes, take a more in-depth look at the one I originally looked at, and then bump the camera that's in my lap and take a look at some of these other selections that I got. All right, internet, kisses.